have all this stuff written about him, but I just think he's great. He's just another hillbilly like me. So Silas is the author of 5 novels, several plays, and many essays. His work has received numerous honors, including Kentucky Novel of the Year, Appalachian Writer of the Year, and Parents' Choice Award. He is respected and loved for his principled activism in support of the dignity and worth of all people. Yeah. Silas is now a professor at Berea College and a mentor. Yeah. And a mentor and a friend to many. I can't think of anyone better to speak about building Appalachia's bright future than Silas House.
Well, I am so proud to say that I'm from the country of Appalachia. I'm proud to say that I'm a hillbilly, because to me that word is about empowerment and not shame. As you all know, we cannot have hillbillies without heels, and that's why I'm here today. Because our hills are dying. Our water is being killed. Our Appalachia is being chopped and dozed and hauled away in those coal trains until nothing is going to remain except the spirit of Appalachia, a spirit that can never be rubbed out, no matter how many machines rumble up its ridges. History has shown that Appalachia has always been a microcosm for this nation. That holds true even today. Appalachia and America, both in a crisis of conscience over the environment. The country almost evenly divided over climate change. In the mountains, the people divided, some desperate to save their hills, hollers, and heritage. Others convinced that to be true to their mountains, they must participate in tearing them down. I love Appalachia, but a whole lot of our own believe that speaking out against the coal companies means we are not patriots. I believe a patriot always stands up against wrong, even when that wrong is deemed legal. And in this case, I believe it's deemed legal by the very people who are making a fortune off of that very wrong. Not only is Appalachia a microcosm of America, but also of the world. Today, the entire global community is facing overwhelming challenges of energy, climate, economy, democracy. We are standing at the door to the future, and all those who make up what we will call the old power are breathing down our necks to stay in the past, trying to convince us that we must trade devastation for energy. Instead of displaying political courage and being visionaries, they want to keep doing things the way they've been done for the past century. It ain't working. I, for one, am ready for new power. So the first step into this future, into solutions, must be that we clean this house. Let's support the handful who are doing their jobs and get rid of the ineffective politicians who are lining their pockets with money derived from the suffering of the children of Appalachia instead of being innovative thinkers. Let's clean this house. We need to work in the campaigns of those who are going to actually do something. We need to knock on doors for them, stand on street corners holding their signs, make phone calls, dispel misinformation. Let's clean this house. We need to ditch the Mitches. We need to get rid of the princes of pork who tell us that the problem is our own lack of personal responsibility in a desirable environment. Let's get rid of senators like the Pauls who believe that we are all corporations. Actual quote from Rand Paul. Let's clean this house. Let's clean this house. We have waited and waited for a majority of our politicians to lead us, but too many are listening to corporations instead of their constituents, and that is unacceptable. We must clean this house. We have talked for years about the problems of mountaintop removal and this outlaw industry. For the past decade, KFTC has actively worked towards solutions with four main goals: enforcing existing laws, passing stronger laws where needed to protect health and environment, developing a diverse and sustainable local economy, and developing clean energy solutions in the region. New power. KFTC has given us the groundwork, and now we must be the solution. We must stop the destruction of mountains and jobs and culture. We must begin the creation of jobs and respect and a new attitude. Kentuckians must lead the way in the new power, starting with all of us who are gathered here today on the steps of our capital, our house, our old Kentucky home. First thing we must demand is an end to this rhetoric by politicians and the industry that coal miners can't learn to do anything but mine coal. The coal miners that I know are some of the most intelligent men and women I've ever met. My grandfather was a miner for decades and a very smart man. After he had given King Coal decades of his life and his right leg, lost forever in the deep mines of Perry County, he made his own way. He became a farmer and a craftsman who supported his family by making shovels and hoes that were sought after throughout the region. He was a Kentuckian, an Appalachian, and he could learn as well as anybody. Let's honor miners like him by investing in strategies to grow our economy in areas like agriculture, forestry, renewable energy, tourism, culture, and affordable, energy-efficient housing. We can put people to work, repairing our damaged land and streams, because we certainly have plenty of them, with more than 2,000 miles of our precious streams now destroyed. We can reform Kentucky's severance tax so the money goes to the counties that sacrifice the most to power the world. Like my friend Carl said, I see so many people down home who go around with bumper stickers claiming they are friends of coal. Since that organization is bankrolled by the industry itself, it is fair to say that those people, while perhaps well-intentioned, are supporting corporations instead of people. I wish instead they would join us in being friends of miners and mountains. That's what we are. I wish they would stand with us to demand that companies like Patriot and Peabody honor their commitments to retired and disabled miners. We can harness the wind. A recent study showed that by harnessing small-scale renewable energy, we could produce 34% of our electricity in Kentucky alone. We need an economic or political leader brave enough to take this on and wave aside those who laugh at the idea of being progressive. Being progressive is not a bad thing. And we can demand new laws. The main thing standing between us and renewable, efficient energy is that we don't have good policies in this state. 30 states have passed laws that require utilities to get a growing share of their electricity from renewables. If our state would pass the Clean Energy Opportunity Act, studies have shown that we could net 28,000 new jobs over a 10-year period. That is new power. We need to make sure our representatives invest in education and healthcare, create jobs and cost savings by ramping up renewable energy in our state. We need to make sure loopholes are closed and laws are enforced so that corporations don't continue to extract profits at the expense of workers and communities. We need to make sure our politicians realize that the Commonwealth of Kentucky is a government for the people, not the corporations. These are not my ideas. These are your ideas, the ideas that you, Kentuckians for the Commonwealth, have put together. And together, we are creating a new power. But without real political leadership, our efforts will remain undersized, under-resourced, and under the radar. We have no other choice but to clean this house. Before I close, I want to honor all those who are already using this new power. The Harlan Countyans who demanded that their government buildings be more energy efficient. Groups like MACID leading the way in helping homeowners and renters to weatherize their homes. The local food economy folks who are organizing, learning skills, expanding markets, making a living from diversified, environmentally friendly agriculture. Those who are leading the effort to expand tourism in the areas that haven't already been devastated. Organizations like Bereans for Appalachia, students who work to preserve this region, and everything from participating in rallies like this to hosting square dances where the young and the old can mix and trade ideas and preserve our way of life. These are visionaries. People who recognize that new power means new thinking. They have realized that we cannot continue accepting it when politicians and billionaires tell us our greatest natural resource is coal. We have at least two other natural resources that are far, far better: our water and our people. Recently, I was spending the day with my parents, who live in southeastern Kentucky. We were sitting in the front room, laughing and telling tales. Suddenly, the house shook, as if the ground was parting. A ceiling fan above our heads shimmied, its chain clicking against the light. Outside, dogs barked and howled. A couple of us had jumped to our feet. We have lived around mining all of our lives, but we had never felt a blast like that before. It was so bad that people called 911, so bad that the news reported on it that night. They said no, it had not been an earthquake, just mining, they said, that's all. All I could do was shake my head at the way the rest of my family accepted it, at the way the newscaster acted as if it was no big deal, at the way it was business as usual. I looked at my parents, their hands and bodies marked by more than 50 years of hard work, of loving Appalachia with everything in them. I studied my daughters, knowing they deserve better than this, knowing that they will be hard-pressed for opportunities in this mono-economy that the coal industry has created, that is effectively forcing our youth to leave or struggle. Sometimes I get so weary of fighting, and I know that you do too. I get so tired of coming to Frankfort and going to Washington, D.C. I get tired of having to march and chant to protect our water and our children. Those are two things we should never have to march for or hold rallies for. But every time that I get so weary that I think that I cannot go on, something like that big quaking mind blast happens. And I look into the faces of my children, and I feel the resolve to keep going, to keep fighting. That determination is the spirit that you all have, the spirit of new power. Those who try to stop it, those who keep telling us that having a sustainable future for our children just isn't possible, they have no idea that the more they push us, the stronger we become. We are building a new power that they cannot extinguish, an undefeatable spirit like that of the mountains themselves. Thank you.
Gosh, you can't beat a hillbilly, can you? Okay, we have the great sugar tree here to play for us, but you know what makes it possible for us to be here and KFTC to bring our residents here at Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to fight the bad laws in here is people reaching in their pockets and donating to the organization. So we're going to have some people walking around with baskets. They're going to be passing around. Dig deep, give us $1, give us 10, give us 100. But your gifts to us helps make it possible for us to have events like this today. And I also want to tell you, this is very important, Tim, thank you. Interstate 64 West is now open. So those of you that was worried, worry no more. It is now open.
I'm scared.
But we're not done yet. We got lots to go. Can't leave, even though it's open. So.